Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did It Work? My name's Nina, and today we're doing Zuppa Tuscana Soup, the Black Edition. I'll explain that later. Right now, I am getting my potatoes all chopped up. I'm using red potatoes. You're going to use about 4 to 6 red potatoes, depending on the size. And then I'm going to put them in a bowl, put some water on them, and I'm going to set them aside until I'm ready for them. Now, before I did this, I did not film it, but I cleaned 2 bundles. They were small bundles, 2 bundles of collard greens, and I destemmed them and I cut them really, really thin so that they would cook. Now I am doing an onion. I have a medium yellow onion. You can use white or yellow. And I'm just chopping it up. Finely chopped. I want small pieces. If you like bigger pieces of onion, then use bigger pieces. This is all up to you. As I keep telling you, make it your own. Next, I'm using andouille sausage, which has become one of my favorite all-time sausages to eat. I have learned to love the spiciness that it brings to my dishes, and the fat that it renders gives so much flavor. Now, normally you use an Italian sausage in this dish, hence the black edition. I got my recipe from Giada De Laurentiis, and she also says that Italian sausage, or I'm sorry, she also says that the andouille sausage can be substituted for an Italian sausage. So I'm not veering that far away from her recipe, but I just cut the andouille sausage long ways into fours, and then I cut them up into bite-sized pieces. How small or big that you want to cut them, it's up to you. You can literally just cut them in circles and just slice them in little quarter circles and put them in there. I like mine cut up a little bit more, and I think it renders better as well when I do it that way. But this is yours. You make it the way you want. Once I get them all cut up, I'm just going to take them and I'm going to put them in a bowl. And I'm also going to set these aside for later on because, as you can see, I'm doing quite a bit of prep right now. Now, after I get all that done, I already have my collard greens set aside. I have my potatoes set aside. I have my onions set aside. And now I have my andouille sausage set aside. If you do not have a garlic press, you need to mince your garlic. Now I got my Dutch oven skillet. I put it on a medium high heat and I added in my andouille sausage. I am going to render this sausage all the way down. I want to get a browning on the sausage so it has a nice color to it. I will show you that color at the end when I'm done. And you're going to get some brown particles on your pan, and that's fine. That's flavor. Now on the side, you see my collard greens over there? I put 2 capfuls of apple cider vinegar in there. So that's about, I don't know, a couple of tablespoons or 1 tablespoon, a couple of teaspoons, I'm not for sure. And let that rest. Look at that color. Look at that color. That was the color I was talking about. Guys, you see that? It's wonderful. Once you've got that color and you've got your collard greens over there resting with that apple cider vinegar spread into them, tossed up in there, get yourself a slotted spoon and take out your andouille sausage. You can tell I wasn't using a slotted spoon at first, and I was trying to drain that on the side, and I realized I can work smarter, not harder, and get a slotted spoon. After I get that sausage out, leave that grease in there and put in your onions. We're going to cook our onions down until they're a little bit translucent. So about 1 to 2 minutes. That's about it. 1 to 2 minutes. It doesn't take a whole lot, but we want to do that for about 1 to 2 minutes. Cook those down until they're translucent. Um, just keep stirring them. You don't want them to burn in any way. More of a translucent color. We're not really trying to brown the onions. So keep that in mind. They're going to kind of turn brown because they're picking up the brown particles in the pan, and that is perfectly fine. This is what we call layering flavors, and this soup is punched, packed with flavors. It will give you a flavor punch, okay? So after we get that for a couple of minutes, I'm going to now start putting my garlic in. I have a garlic press. Thank you to my sister-in-law, Rosa from Texas, who one, introduced me to this soup, and two, gave me this garlic press. And I'm going to use all 5 goes, all 5 garlic, cloves of garlic has got to go in there, and I'm going to press them in there. guys, no, 5 cloves of garlic is not a lot. Do not be afraid that this says 5 cloves of garlic. I tell you that because I was a little bit scared when I read that. Make sure you get that garlic off the bottom of it. And you know what, guys? This garlic, those onions, and that andouille, the smell that is about to come out of this soup is going to be crazy. Just wait for it because this smell's got to all of a sudden hit me, and you're going to know it because I reacted to the smell of this. Stir this around, let it cook a little bit, and oh, there it hit me. There it hit me. That smell is so good. All right, guys, put a couple of tablespoons of butter. When I say a couple of tablespoons of butter, I do mean two. Put it in there, stir that around, let that melt, and then we're going to start throwing in our seasonings in there. 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and red pepper chili flakes to taste. If you like it more spicy, put more. I don't do a whole lot of spice, so I didn't put a whole lot because I already have that andouille sausage in there. And oh my gosh, stir this around. The smells in this, guys, this smells amazing. Trust me, it smells amazing. Now we're going to put the flour in here. This has got to be 1 tablespoon of flour, and we're going to stir that around, let that flour cook out. So we're going to stir it around there for at minimum a minute. Just stir it in there. Let that thicken up around there 1, 2 minutes and just stir. We want to cook the flour taste out of there. Doesn't matter if it starts to stick a little bit, guys. That's fine. We're layering flavors right now. This is going to serve as a thickening agent. So everything in that pan should have just kind of grabbed together and started thickening up. And so we're just going to stir it. Don't care about that brown stuff. Look, now we've got our 1 cup of heavy cream. Pour that in there and keep on stirring. You're going to tell that that is got to start coming off the sides like nothing was ever on there. And we're going to stir it. But we're not done with the liquid. We need 3 cups of either chicken broth or 3 cups of water and then add in chicken bouillon. I did the 3 cups of water and now I'm adding in my chicken bouillon. So that's how I decided to do it. Chicken broth works just as well, okay? Stir it up. And now, as you're stirring, scrape the bottom and the sides of that. And those particles on the sides and on the bottom are going to start coming up. I tasted it. It tastes wonderful. If it didn't and you needed to adjust the seasoning, that was the time to start adjusting the seasoning because we want to layer these seasonings. Layer the seasonings, which means nothing should be bland at no point. As we add, we season. Okay? I rolled me a lemon because I'm getting those juices loose. I cut it in half and I'm putting the entire lemon juice in there. So the lemon juice of an entire lemon is going in there. And I'm just using my juicer right here. This is a lemon and lime juicer that I like. And it takes a little bit of hand grip strength, but I got it going on. And then I'm going to stir it again. Now those apple cider soaked greens, collard greens are going in there. Now I'm putting those in there. It's about roughly 2.5 handfuls. The recipe calls for 1 bundle. I ended up getting 2 bundles because the bundles in the store were small to me. So if you want less greens in there, use less. If you want more greens in there, use the same amount that I did, or use more if you want more. For me, this was perfect. I will again buy about that much. So it's about 2.5 handfuls from mine. And I'm going to put them in there, stir them, put them in there, stir them. Um, it's not a whole lot because this is a soup that has a lot of components to it, not just a pan of greens. And once I stir those up and make sure all the greens is in that liquid, I am going to take my lid and I'm going to put my lid on there. And this needs to cook for 10 minutes, okay? So we're going to cook the greens down because the greens are fibrous, okay? 10 minutes has passed. Take the lid off and we're going to stir this up again. Just make sure everything looks good. And oh, just to let you know, this smells wonderful. This smells wonderful. get my spoon because we're tasting again. I want to make sure everything is good. And I got a green in there if you didn't see to make sure the green was done. I want those greens to be pretty much done because we're almost done cooking it. Put in the andouille sausage, drain the water off of the potatoes, and then add the potatoes in. Stir those up again, guys. Let's stir this up. Okay, right now you see me cutting my potatoes because now I've realized the potatoes were cut too big. I did cut the majority of those potatoes down, so don't do what I did and cut them small in the very beginning because I wasted a whole lot of time that I cut out of there. Last thing that I'm going to put in there before I do the last cook is some fresh basil. And it's about 2 tablespoons. I guesstimated it. And then we're going to stir that all in there. Fresh herbs always brings a brightness. And the smell, guys, I cannot emphasize the smell more. Taste it one more time. Look, I got a little bit everything in there. Add some salt for flavor. I just put a little bit of salt in there. I didn't put any pepper because I've already put in the andouille sausage, which is spicy, and red pepper flakes is in there. Cover it up. We're going to cook it for, oh my gosh, we're going to say approximately 5 more minutes until the potatoes are done, okay? And then we're going to stir that around. And guess what we're going to do, guys? We're going to taste it again to make sure all the flavors came together. So we're going to give this one more taste after I stir this all up, okay? Flavor was on point, so I want to make sure the potatoes are done by sticking my fork in them to make sure they're fork tender. We're not at the tasting table, but we are about to do a taste. This is how this turned out. The smell is absolutely amazing. Mm. Oh my gosh. For someone who had no idea how this was going to turn out, I had this soup with my sister-in-law, Rosa, when I was in Texas. And it is the Zuppa Tuscana soup. You can get it at of Olive Garden. And it's an Italian soup. And I wanted some. So I decided I was going to come home and make it. And when I was looking up the recipes for it, I saw Gia De Laurentiis recipe, and I really like the recipe. So this is completely inspired by this recipe. I just say it's the black edition because I put collard greens in it instead of kale, and I did put andouille sausage in it instead of Italian sausage. Even though Giada also says you can use andouille sausage, I did the collard greens and I chopped them up really thin so that they could cook down a little bit faster, and I did not alter any of the seasonings in this at all. At all. So this is, I guess, I'm gonna keep calling it the Zuppa Tuscana, the Black Edition. That's what I'm calling this. This is wonderful, and I did toast me up some bread that I'm gonna eat with it. This worked. Oh my gosh, this worked. I can't wait for someone to taste it. As always, love with your heart, cook with your soul. My name's Nina. This is going to end up being a go-to soup of mine.